Man, what the fuck's poppin', everybody, man? It's a beautiful night out tonight, man. And today, what we're gonna be talking about is it's gonna be the topic of fasting. You know, the causes of disease, what we can do about it, and the tools that we have at our disposal, man. That, you know, really it's just so simple. I can't believe it, dog. But we're gonna talk about it on a whole on the level of all different parts of the mechanism, energetically, physically, mentally, spiritually, everything that it can do for us, you know what I'm saying, on a base level to the expansive, you know what I'm saying. So here, I'm gonna just start it off with a banger one time. We just gonna let Dr.Sebi do his thing and talk about how mucus is the main cause of disease, you know what I'm saying. So give me 1 second, let's get this popping.
Since we have heard the relationship between food and disease, could you then tell us what is disease?
Sure. That should have been the question to ask when we first went to see the physician or the healer. What is disease? We want to know what is disease, because if we do not know the causes of disease, then it would be impossible for us to zero in on a meaningful cure or any cure at all. What is disease? The doctors never told us, but we kept going back to him. Now the question is asked to the Usha Institute. The question should have been answered by the anthropologists and the archaeologists. Why wait for the healer to come? Because if we are diseased and we are unaware as to the cause of our disease, then whatever comes after that means absolutely nothing, because our bodies are sick. Disease is when you have ingested a substance that was uncomplimentary with your genetic structure. As for the black man, his is mucus. Disease is the cause of, mucus is the cause of all disease. This was the question posed to me in court, that why were we making these claims and why were we so successful, and what was going on? Is that disease was never identified to us. If it was identified, then the question would not be asked now, and then we all of us that are sick would be enjoying health. Well, disease is the accumulation of mucus, breaking down the mucous membrane, and that mucus covering groups of cells in your body. Like, for instance, we have the mucous membrane in the body to protect us from the onslaught of aerobic bacteria, as they are called. But this mucous membrane is for protection. But now we eat acid foods, and the acid food breaks down the mucous membrane and does cause it to flow with the blood, covering other groups of cells now. Groups of cells that belongs to organs, depriving them of oxygen. If the mucus goes to your nostrils, they call it sinusitis. If the mucus goes to your bronchial tubes, it's bronchitis. If the mucus goes to the lungs, it's pneumonia. So we have 3 different diseases caused by what? Mucus. So what about when the mucus goes to the prostate glands? It's prostatitis. What about when the mucus goes to the uterus of the woman? That's endometriosis, or vaginal discharge, or yeast infection. So we have this mucus situation now that is caused by an inadequate diet. Mucus is the underlying cause for all disease. And this is where we specialize at the Usha Research Institute in making those compounds to aid the body to remove the mucus from itself.
Wow, man, you know, that's fucking profound, you know what I'm saying? So Dr. Sebi dedicated his whole life to doing this, rest in peace. And he cured everything from AIDS to Lyme disease, you know, and cancer, everything with just simply shifting to an alkaline diet. And so he explained it himself, how mucus is the #1 cause of all disease, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what, you know, at this point in time, you know, we look at all the things on the list that we're not supposed to eat, you know what I'm saying? All the different types of acidic foods that we consume on a day-to-day basis, how it's produced, whether it's organic or not. We have to worry about all the different types of things going on with it, from when it is cultivated, even from the seed and the soil, all the way to when it reaches the store, and then how old it is and how long it's been sitting in the store, whether it's sprouted, organic, biodynamic. Like, there's so many different things that we have to pay attention to. And so it really comes down to what the foods are doing to our body. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter, like, how bomb it is, you know what I'm saying? All of that, you know what I mean? It's really like, what is it doing on a alchemical level within inside of this body, this temple? You know what I'm saying? So, so what are we going to do about it, though? We've been living this way for however many years now, you know what I'm saying? And even newfound vegans, we still have built up chemicals and toxins within us that we need to expel. And so this is where fasting comes in, and the shifting of the diet, and being conscious of and aware of what we put in this temple, and cleansing it out so we can facilitate new energies within this body, you know what I'm saying? And expand truly, you know what I'm saying? Because the tool of anything, as the medium to energy, is this physical body right now that we have tangibly to use as a tool. So I'm gonna read an excerpt from this little article one time on GreekMedicine.net, and it's about fasting, and the benefits of fasting on a spiritual and physical level. So I'm gonna just go ahead and jump in one time. So with the physician within, fasting and purification. Everyone has a physician inside him or her. We just have to help it in its work. The natural healing force within each one of us is the greatest force in getting well. Our food should be our medicine. Our medicine should be our food. But to eat when you are sick is to feed your sickness. So imagine a body that's, has accumulated a certain amount and level of toxins, and, built up mucus in different parts of the body. Like, you're literally just like you're feeding the disease every day by how we're eating, what we're consuming, everything within the air, you know what I'm saying? So we have to take care of everything that we put into our body, you know what I'm saying? So if we're feeding it with all the acidic foods, we're just building up more disease within the body, and it's just waiting to be activated if we step into the right environment, because our environment is going to be ready to cultivate a disease. And so, but to eat when you are sick is to feed your sickness. And so we need to see what that means. You know what I'm saying? And, where do we start from here? You know what I'm saying? Like, we really have to cleanse ourselves. And fasting is one of the most powerful tools to do so. And just shifting to an alkaline diet is a beautiful thing. But if you want to reverse all the effects of everything up to now, imagine eating alkaline food after that. It's going to be like 10 times more powerful. You're going to absorb the nutrients way more quicker, easier, digest it, and the alkalinity is going to be everlasting. You know what I'm saying? And that was a quote by Hippocrates. And instead of using medicine, rather fast a day. And that's Plutarch. And these are both Greek philosophers. So when an animal such as a dog or a cat is sick, its natural instinct is to refuse food. When the crisis is over and the internal healing work has been accomplished, the appetite will return naturally of its own accord. The human organism also has a fasting instinct, just like that of the other animals. Evolutionary adaptation has made our bodies very efficient and strong, or very efficient at storing energy reserves and drawing upon them when food supplies are scarce. Fasting is as old as mankind, perhaps even older. As far back as historians can see, men have been fasting for one reason or another. It seems to be a universal practice. The ancient Greeks were great believers in fasting. Hippocrates advocated it, as is shown in the above quotation. Plato said that he fasted for greater physical and mental efficiency. Aristotle, his pupil, also fasted. Both Galen and Avicenna also prescribed fast for their patients. So, it's really like, they're talking about prescribing it, using it as a tool to expand consciousness, to restore physical vitality, and to eliminate any type of toxins that have been, given to the body. You know what I'm saying? Over the years of living destructive And that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? That's very powerful. Let's see what it does on a deeper level. So basically, there are two kinds of purposes or objectives for fasting. Men fast for either spiritual or physical reasons, and both are equally valid. Spiritually, fasting helps us transcend our addiction and attachments to food, and to realize that man doesn't live by bread alone. The mind gets clear, and spiritual awareness deepens. Freed from having to satisfy physical hunger, one can then turn one's attention to feeding the mind and the spirit. Spiritual masters like Pythagoras wouldn't admit any disciple into higher teachings unless they had first purified themselves through fasting. Physically, fasting enables the organism to detoxify and clean house, because the vast majority of diseases are caused by auto-intoxication. Fasting has wide-ranging therapeutic benefits. It also gives the digestive organs a much-needed rest. For all fevers and diseases in the acute crisis stage, Hippocrates prescribed either a strict fast with nothing but water or medicinal teas, or a very slender liquid diet. Fasting is also recommended for colds and flu, arthritis and rheumatism, digestive complaints, and all humoral metabolic disorders. Scientific experiments conducted in laboratory mice have shown that severe restriction of caloric intake extends their lifespan. Since this is basically what fasting is, fasting holds great promise for life extension. Dude, that's powerful. You know what I'm saying? So you're literally going to clean out everything that is going wrong with the body. And I'm going to get to the different stages that happens when you start fasting, from 3 days to 15 days to 30 and beyond. And we're going to discuss the benefits that we're going to feel, but also during the time frame we're also going to be facing certain purging symptoms and detoxification symptoms because of the amount of toxins, whether it's right here, depending where the toxins and morbid humors have been held in the body, they will start to produce various signs and symptoms as this waste is eliminated and passed off. So in the head and the brain, it causes headaches, dizziness, vertigo, wooziness, lightheadedness. In the nose and the sinuses, sneezing, runny nose, itching, stinging, postnasal drip. In the throat, soreness or constriction, hoarseness, scratchiness, lungs. Everything that is built up with certain amounts of toxins, depending on the lifestyle that we lived, just based upon our whole physiology as an individual being, we're gonna feel certain types of detoxification symptoms. That's why sometimes we have headaches during the fast. We feel very tired. We can feel our heart beating a little bit harder. We feel fatigued, or the joints are sore or the muscles are sore. It's because that's where the toxins are being fought directly, addressed, and killed off. And so we are going to feel that, you know what I'm saying? But in order to really feel the vitality of the human body, we have to go through that and sacrifice the little amount of pain for a great amounts of feeling and bursts of energy that is going to last for a lifetime. If we take care of our body and live in alkalinity and understand our system, and this is actually going to assist with the CHRISM and the sacred secretion rising as well. And so right here, this right here is going to show us the different stages of fasting, what happens from day 1 to day 30 and beyond. So stage 1, on the first day of fasting, blood sugar level drops below 70 milligrams to restore the blood to the normal glucose level. Liver glycogen is converted to glucose and released into the blood. This reserve is enough for half a day. The body then reduces the basal metabolic rate. The rate of internal chemical activity and resting tissue is lowered to conserve energy. The heart slows and blood pressure is reduced. Glycogen is pulled from the muscle, causing some weakness. The first wave of cleansing is usually the worst. Headaches, dizziness, nausea, bad breath, glazed eyes, and a heavily coated tongue are signs of the first stage of your cleansing. Hunger can be the most intense in this period unless the enema is used, which quickly assists the body in the fasting state by ending digestion within the colon. Stage 2, day 3 to 7. Fats composed of transformed fatty acids are broken down to release glycerol from the glyceride molecules and are converted to glucose. The skin may become oily as rancid oils are purged from the body. People with problem-free skin may have few days of pimples or even a boil. A pallid complexion is also a sign of waste in the blood. Ketones are formed by the incomplete oxidation of fats. It is suspected that the ketones in the blood suppress the appetite by affecting the food satiety center in the hypothalamus. You may feel hungry for the first few days of the fast. This effect is temporary. The desire to eat will disappear. Lack of hunger may last 40 to 60 days, depending on whether you are on a water or juice fast. The body embraces the fast and the digestive system is able to take a much needed rest, focusing all of its energies on cleansing and healing. White blood cell and immune system activity increases. You may feel pain in your lungs. The cleansing organs and the lungs are in the process of being repaired. Periodically, the lymphatic system expels mucoid matter through the nose or throat. The volume excreted of this yellow-colored mucus can be shocking. The sinuses go through periods of being clogged, then will totally clear. The breath is still foul and the tongue is coated. Within the intestine, the colon is being repaired and impacted. Feces on the intestinal wall will start to loosen. So even just in 7 days, you're breaking down so much toxins within the body, freeing up a lot of mucoid matter, which is going to be expelled. And that's powerful. You know, the lungs, you know, they say the three forms of what should I say? What's the word? The three forms of intake, you know what I'm saying? Digestion. The three forms of food is eating, you know what I'm saying? Physical food, drinking, consuming. Then second is the breath. So how deep you breathe, you know, and so the lungs are very powerful, you know, located within the heart chakra, the central point of energy. We need to expand our diaphragm and the lungs so that we can intake more breath and expand our energy field at the central point. The more breath that we take in, the more prana we take in. Therefore, the more solar energy we can inhale and hold within the system, and actually open up more nadi centers just by breathing more and converting that higher into Christic energy. So we need to have the lungs free of mucoid matter. And this is just in the 7 days of fasting. So that's very powerful. Just in 7 days, if you're doing juice, if you're doing teas, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I really recommend, if you're trying to do a fast, I recommend getting some Irish sea moss, and getting the raw form of it and converting it into a gel. And what you do is you add it to a tea, and you can look up your own type of herbal mixture if you'd like, or, you know, if you want me to post mine, I'd be glad to as well. But what you do is you make your tea, and it's already going to be very nutrient dense from all the different types of super herbs that are going to be compounded within the tea and brewed within it. And once you add the Irish sea moss, it actually has many amino acids. It has 92 of the 102 different types of nutrients that we need in one serving per day. And so every time that you take this, you're supercharging your body, along with the different types of herbs and a gallon of spring water a day. And what that's going to do is it's going to help to aid in the detoxification process by supplying the alkaline nutrients to the different cells and helping them expel all the different mucus and toxins way faster, in a way that your cells are going to regenerate and be able to hold light much more better, and you're going to be vibrant and glowing, man. You know what I'm saying? And this combined with, you know, I know this is a funny topic, man, but, you know, urine therapy is very powerful because the urine is very close to the blood, and we're gonna get to that in the second half of this video. But the combination of fasting and urine therapy, which is considered the nectar of the Kundalini Shakti, actually fuels the energy centers in the body to literally vibrate at higher frequencies, so you can expel every toxin, eliminate any type of illness within the body at a much faster rate, and in a way that you're literally taking the perfect medicine for yourself, because your body is cleansing the blood and filtering it, not expelling waste, but filtering it And once you consume it again in the right process, it actually is the perfect medicine for you, for your system, for the individual. Like if I did it, for example, it would be my perfect medicine. Like there's many accounts of people using fasting to expand their energy field, cleanse themselves of all different types of ailments and toxins, but at the same time using the urine to expand in a way that you're activating and touching the Kundalini serpent directly with the nectar of this of life, you know what I'm saying, of vitality, man. And we're gonna get to that in a second. So as you can see right here, I'll provide the link to the different stages of detoxification. But look, even on stage number 3, day 8 to 15, on the latter part of an extended fast, you can experience enhanced energy, clear-mindedness, and feel better than you ever have felt since childhood. On the downside, old injuries may become irritated and painful. This is a result of the body's increased ability to heal during fasting. If you had broken your arm 10 years before, there is scar tissue around the break. And at the time of the break, the body's ability to heal was directly related to your lifestyle. If you lived on a junk food diet, the body's natural healing ability was compromised. During fasting, the body's healing process is at optimum efficiency. As the body scours for dead or damaged tissue, the lymphocytes enter the older, damaged tissue, secreting substances to dissolve the damaged cells. The substances irritate the nerves in the surrounding region and cause reoccurrence of aches from previously injured areas that may have disappeared years earlier. The pain is good as the body is completing its healing process. The muscles may become tight and sore due to toxin irritation. The legs can be the worst affected as toxins accumulate in the legs. Cankers are common in this stage due to excessive bacteria in the mouth. Daily gargling with salt water will prevent or heal cankers. The body in stage 4, 16 to 33. The body is now completely adapted to the fasting process. There is more energy and clarity of mind. Cleansing periods can be short with many days of feeling good in between. There are days when the tongue is pink and the breath is fresh. The healing work of the organs is being completed. After the detoxification mechanisms have removed the causative agent or render it harmless, the body works at maximum capacity and tissue proliferation to replace damaged tissues. While a short fast will reduce the symptoms, a longer fast can completely heal. Homeostatic balance is at optimum levels. The lymphatic system is clean except for a rare discharge of mucus through the nose or throat. After day 20, the mind is affected. Heightened clarity and emotional balance are felt at this time. Memory and concentration improve. So you're directly raising your vibrational field and energy. And the ancient Egyptians knew this, man. And you know this. It directly affects the pineal gland when you fast, and it helps the pituitary gland and the pineal secrete the DMT and the serotonin necessary for the land of milk and honey to flow and the CHRISM to occur. So imagine if, you know, this is why you're supposed to fast during this time and have prayer, because you're reinforcing the energies within yourself and you're actually opening yourself up to more energies and expanding. And so prayer and fasting during the time of the CHRISM is necessary, so you let the free flow of DMT and serotonin drip down the spine and let the CHRISM occur in the proper manner. And you're actually reinforcing it and having it be more powerful and the cerebrospinal fluid flow more easier and have it be more agile through the system by fasting. So imagine if you do a long state of fasting and literally cleanse yourself out and you're a fresh system and the CHRISM occurs. It's going to flow beautifully. And you're doing transmutation practices of energy, and you're using your intention, your visualization, you're integrating it consciously, and really feeling what happens. Like, you will see for yourself that, you know, it really feels like you're taking some shrooms or something, man, or you're in a deep meditation, but you're wide awake, you know, and you're on nothing but except the vibratory frequencies of the universe and the alchemical process of the CHRISM happening within. Like, it literally is a feeling that happens, you know. And so, you know, I'm gonna read this one time, and it's called the self-control gland and fasting, referring to the pineal. So it is interesting that those of the past Eve the ancients were more aware of the role of the pineal gland in their lives than we are today. Not peculiar to the human being. In the 2nd century, Galen brought awareness to the west of the pineal gland, which by the 18th century was described as the seat of the human soul by French scientist and philosopher René Descartes, as it is where in man soul and body touch each other at a single point. Between the two hemispheres and above the mouth chamber, the endocrine hormonal gland, the pineal, appears in the developing human fetus around 49 days after conception. Damn, that relates to the 49 dimensions of the ego, and the 49 demons of Set that we must slay in order to have in order to prepare ourselves as the proper initiate to have the CHRISM rise. We know that intermittent fasting acts like a trigger that activates certain genes responsible for some serious repair work, as in the case of animal studies which demonstrate a reduction in certain cancers. When fasting, the pineal gland secretes more melatonin, which is a neurotransmitter that is a powerful antioxidant, which is also produced in the liver, biliary roots, and pancreas. The waking nighttime hours should not be taken advantage of because this is when the pineal gland secretes melatonin, which is released into the body. When light is not present, when the sun sets, the pineal gland shifts gear and produces its primary hormone, melatonin, in larger quantities until it peaks from 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning. The only other time that melatonin is released is during relaxation and meditation, and the Quran tells us that He made night a time for rest and for prayer for a short while. We are created by electromagnetic energy and react to energy stimuli wherever it may be, and the pineal gland does also. And as you see, the pineal gland is a photosensitive organ. This makes it very important to the human body. Let's see. So whereas the Western belief in general today is the notion that awareness and consciousness emerges from the nervous system, spiritual practices today, including practices during Ramadan, sheds other light. In tandem with modern research, some clandestine psyops has helped to increase understanding, including how the transmission of light is vital to humankind. As a photosensitive organ, the pineal's source of energy is received via the retina, the hypothalamus, which relays information about dark light to a point in the hypothalamus. From this point, information is relayed by the sympathetic nervous system, pineal nerve, to the pineal gland itself. This journey is what conspires to prevent the production of melatonin. But where there is no light, a reality that must be factored into Islamic fasting, melatonin is released. This then activates what is a key step in psychic, spiritual, and energy transformation processes. So, and by fasting, you're actually increasing these processes to happen much quicker, and having the claustrum produce the cerebrospinal fluid, and have it flow and have the CHRISM facilitated within the body. And so you're literally making this happen at a much faster rate and expanding your energetic field and the chemical process within the physical self to open itself to make this happen in a proper fashion. And we're really going to transform our energy alchemically, y'all. Like, this is for real. You know what I'm saying? So taking fasting in a light manner is foolish. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a tool that we can literally use to expand every aspect of ourselves in all different levels of the being. So before modern science began to understand the role of the pineal gland, its twin, the pituitary gland, was believed to control everything in the human body. While the role of the pituitary gland is to exercise control over the body physically, the pineal gland exercises control over the mental and spiritual, with both working through a well-coordinated system of hormones and nerves. This is how the Mizan is built into us that as human beings we take for granted. In a state of long-term fasting, when we begin assuming that energy levels are dependent on the intake of foods, as we progress into our fast, we find that a boost of energy comes from somewhere else when we fast in a state of relaxation into what has also been known as the seat of consciousness, but is also the point from which our soul exits during sleep and death. So literally right here, the seat of the soul, the royal archway, to receive the spark of divinity on the pineal gland. We literally have different types of tools that we can use at our disposal right within this organism. You know what I'm saying? Everything is within. God is within. You know what I'm saying? So the sleep deprivation experience from nighttime prayer and during the fasting month of Ramadan also activates the pineal gland, along with long rounds of prayer, which, if one follows the strict code of Ramadan fasting or any type of fasting with spiritual practice behind it and intention and energetic resonance and ritual and habit, same process that includes anything of pleasure, fasting from anything that includes anything of pleasure, including perfume, then one will understand that this is true fasting, the fasting of all external stimuli, which cleanses the pineal gland, i.e. its calcification or decalcification, and activates the pineal gland. These practices help to release the hormone dimethyltryptamine. So you're literally going to feel this happening. And this is why during the fast you have boosts of energy, because the chemical process of the pineal gland and the pituitary and the 12 cranial nerves within the brain are all making this happen. And a network of hormones and nerves. And this is profound. And we need to take advantage of this by decalcifying the pineal gland, and you can do this by literally fasting with clean water and assisting it with even deeper with urine therapy, etc. And we'll get to that in a second. So DMT is a peptide, a hormone, an energy transporter that works across the blood-brain barrier. Dr. Rick Strassman of the University of New Mexico found DMT is released from the pineal during dreams, near death, birth, and during meditation and mystical experiences. DMT is also psychoactive in nature and can cause intense visions. And when other peptides are released during such experiences that have been referred to as the nectar of the gods, ambrosia, the living water, and amrita, the waters of amrita. When released, a trickle down the back of the throat can be experienced. DMT in turn increases all pituitary hormones, beta endorphins, vasopressin, prolactin, growth hormone, and cortisol. All forms of temporary stimulation, including serotonin, retake up drugs, but the result is a drop into depression. Continuous spiritual practice is the only practice that sustains an active pineal gland, and that sustained practice gives us access to greater, more wholesome control over our whole selves, every part and aspect to the other 6 bodies that we have beyond this physical self, which in today's world of global government is not to be encouraged. St. Paul on the road to Damascus experienced this state through sensory deprivation. Fasting and Paulo Coelho referred to this state as the epiphany or the alpha or the sphere of Aleph. So we got to take this up, y'all. If we really want to do the CHRISM, man, if we really want to take advantage of this tool that we have, the physical self, this physical shell, to facilitate the essence, the soul, the spirit, to properly have the divine energies translated to this physical realm, and us be the perfect conduit. We must prepare ourselves as conduits so we can have these energies expand within the physical world around us and influence everybody in a positive manner and usher in the new golden age, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the tools at our disposal. It's right here, and it just excites me, man, because it just seems so simple, and it's like, why haven't we been told these things? But we also, we understand why, because we're meant to ascend. We have all the things necessary within us, and without, if we properly cultivate our faith in a manner that we sacrifice anything that is less than what's beyond us. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we get beyond the barrier of the ego of selfish concern only. When we stop separating ourselves, and that means from not only from the things around us, but who we are, You know, how long are we gonna walk around every day feeling like that we're hopeless, that we can't do anything, or we can only do this amount? Like, you know, imagine the first person that didn't have a book, didn't have a guru, didn't have a video to put on, didn't have a seminar to go to. All they had was the cosmos and the elementals and the energy of the universe around them to teach them. You know, and they sat down and experienced these things for themselves. There was no external template for how to think like we've been given. We've been taught how to think, and the reverse of our toroidal flow has been programmed into us from a child, and from the way we've thought, from the way we've ate, to our intention, to the way we perceive everything about our whole essence as a human being, has facilitated what we are now. And we need to go beyond all of the past forms of thought and the past systems of living, and really expand upon this in a new light. And it's going to take a sacrifice and using the scalpel of self-criticism to eliminate the egos of the past. You know what I'm saying? Or to dissect the egos of the past, man. And it's very proper, or very important to do this. You know what I'm saying? And this assists with the production of the DMT, the serotonin, the melatonin. This activates the claustrum in a way that the cerebrospinal fluid can be created, conducted down to in the solar plexus, nurtured with the sexual energy, the creative energy, the prana, the chi, the orgone energy, the vril energy, you know, and actually have it nurtured and expand and move up through the spinal column, the 33 vertebrae, and rise to the heavens, man. You know what I'm saying? Peep my last video, y'all, if you have any questions on the sacred secretion and the CHRISM. There's a lot of beautiful people like John St. Julian and others explaining their experiences with it. And I definitely wanted to touch more base on it and really give, like, I feel like a part 2 version of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, this is the base level, and also what to do beyond that. You know, what it is, what's going on alchemically, energetically within the body, and on a physical level. You know, and and I feel like we need to address that. We can't look at something and just pick and choose, you know, what we like about the truth. You know, truth is undebatable by opinion, you know, so we have to consider these things, whether how we feel about it or not. You know, this is the truth about our anatomy and our physiology, and we have or in our astrophysiology, and we have to take that into consideration and really do the methods and disciplines necessary. And everything we do is energetic resonance. You know, Nikola Tesla said, think of as everything on terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So we have to remember that everything we do in this realm, emotion, thought, movement, everything has an action and a consequence. So we have to take into consideration all the realms of who we are in order to truly expand as a human being and take up our inheritance of who we are. You know what I'm saying? And so right here, you know, look, 10 proven ways to grow your brain, man. Neurogenesis and neuroplasticity, you know, and you can literally expand your mind, you know what I'm saying, and your neural pathways. So the energy of the CHRISM, you know what I'm saying, the Kundalini operates on a network of hormones and nerves, you know what I'm saying, and chemical reactions within the glands and etc. all throughout the body. And so if you want to open up these pathways, you know, you do yoga, you know, you to get in touch with the physical self, you know, you expand the mind, you expand the energy field in a way that you can transform it at a base level, in an alchemical process. You know, you transmutate the lead of the personality into the gold of the spirit, you know, and we can do this by doing yoga, studying, consciously integrating things into our life, eating the right foods, cleansing ourselves, fasting, you know, doing urine therapy, different types of breathing exercises, how deep we breathe, you know, how we think, the different types of internal dialogue that we have with ourselves, you know, what we say to other people, how we feel about other people. Like, everything is an energetic vibration that we set into the universe, and we're either feeding ourselves or destroying ourselves, or remaining stagnant, and so we have to embrace the power of change and transformation. We have to use our voice as a creator. God spoke the universe into existence, and so everything is a vibration, so don't think of it on as terms as you're just doing something physically or you're just doing something energetically. Like, there's fundamental changes going on in every part of you when you do something. So take that into consideration, man, because this is very heavy. If you look at it on a level of on that level, every little thing we do is gonna become something. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna see it physically, and we can look at the higher ups and the quote unquote evil ones. You know what I'm saying? That we know for a fact there's evidential proof, and what I'm saying, all types of things pointing towards the facts, man, that they're involved in some things that that might be on the little dark side, and you can see it in their eyes, you can see it in their complexion, everything. You know what I'm saying? You can see the darkness on somebody, you know what I'm saying? And so it's gonna reflect, regardless, the goodness is gonna reflect, like what energy do you want to give yourself to. And the tree of life, we have Kabbalism, or in Kabbalism we have the tree of life, and we have the Klapoth as well, which is hidden within the sphere of Thoth, which is also within the crown, in between Kether, Chakma, and Binah. And that also those also symbolize, the 3 days. You know what I'm saying? The 3 days of the crucifixion, the 3 days of the CHRISM before rebirth, symbolizes it physically, the pineal gland, the the thalamus, and the pituitary gland. So those resonate with the crown, the Kether, Chakma, and Binah, which make up the heavenly crown. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to rise the Kundalini energy from the base, the earth, Malkuth, the sphere of the earth, and the Muladhara chakra, the root. We're trying to rise the Kundalini energy up to the heavens, reach the pineal gland, have the CHRISM occur. And within that, though, there's a potential to express the luciferic energy of the flower of life, and there's two patterns. There's a luciferic pattern of life, a flower of life, and there's also a divine flower of life, a sacred flower of life, and each one holds its own energy. But why is that? If you look at it, it's like, what do we need two for? Like, how is there two? Because free will, because the expression of the universe is able to expand in its own way. And us as human beings are prime examples of what we can do with our free will. We see on a day-to-day basis, like, and even two people doing the same things. One person can do it very mediocre, and another person can do it genially. And one can be more dedicated and have a vision, and one can just be doing it stagnantly. You know what I'm saying? And it just two different things. You know what I'm saying? And it's two different vibrations and extremities, you know what I'm saying, and expressions of the same wavelength, or two different expressions of the same vibration on different wavelengths, so you have the same thing but opposite ends of the spectrum. So in the center of all this, there's a hidden sphere in the crown, and it's called Thoth. And Thoth is knowledge, the intellect. So by completely basing everything only on one side and not remaining a student to the mother, the nurturing energy of the universe, and gaining wisdom from the Father, and facilitating the Christic energy and the rising of the Holy Spirit, the Kundalini energy, it leads to Thoth, so you fall within the hidden sphere. So the virtues behind it and the energy now shifts, but you think that everything is you don't believe that it's wrong, because at this point your pride starts kicking in, the ego becomes full drive, and you believe, you start being prideful about spiritual practice. This is when people start separating themselves, and solipsis occurs, which is a disease of the mind, that you only control your reality, only how you see it is how it affects other people, etc. in all reality, like every action that we do is an energy, and an action consequence happens. And so it's dangerous to think that way, because it puts you in a state. It's a luciferic mentality of separation, but you think you're together, but you're separating your nature from nature itself. You know what I'm saying? And so Doth is the leading to the Klepothic energy of life, and the Klepothic tree of life, man, and it's dark energy, and they have their own trials and spheres too, because all the spheres of the tree of life are within us in different levels and manifestations. Because if you lay it on the body, the crown literally, you know what I'm saying, is right here. You know, the different levels and spheres all go down to the root chakra. If you put the chakra systems over the tree of life, they're all different energy points. And when you activate the energy points, regardless of what you want to call it, whatever mask, behind it is the map and network of the energy system, whether it's a meridian, a nadi, you know, if you want to call it a sphere, if you want to call it a, you know, the sphere of the tree of life, if you want to call it a chakra, whatever it is. It's once you activate and tap into an energy center, understand it, integrate it, open it up, you know, have it active within your life. You're opening up yourself on a physiological level, and then energetically, and you're expanding yourself in your aura. And now you have more energy flowing in, because each point is a vortex pulling in energy. You know what I'm saying? Look at the toroidal flow. It's a vortex. You know, Nikola Tesla understood this. And so we're trying to reverse the flow to get it back to the proper flow upward, you know, and have the Kundalini energy flow upwards so the CHRISM can occur. But when you step into the Klepothic tree of life, you're going in, and then it's going to cause it to flow downward again, regardless of how far you go. So if you start taking up the ego again, it's going to cause certain types of energy centers to activate, open up, and you're going to have a degradation of yourself again. And so even hidden within the crown, man, it has Doth, you know. And so if you open yourself up to the dark Klepothic tree of energy, the knowledge and intellect, and only base it on that, if you only look at things one-sidedly, and you separate yourself in a way that what you're doing is now, you know, you're above somebody or they're different, you know what I'm saying? Like everything is connected, in just a conversation with somebody else, whether, you know, they don't take up the fruit, man, but you plant a seed, bruh, and you know, you make somebody have a good day just by being, you know, positive, or by being honest, or if you tell somebody the honest truth, like you're helping so much. Imagine, you know, but anyway, that's, you know, it just like, you know, everything's connected, man, and we have such a greater impact on the planet and the world. And I feel like we can make much a greater change, you know, if we really just take hold of who we are and responsibility, man. And you know, if we appreciate everything as a whole, instead of trying to separate things, label it, and put it into compartments, it's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta look to understand ourselves, you know, and to expand and resonate with these energies. It's a choice and a free will, so you can express it in a divine aspect and resonate higher, but you can also resonate lower too. You know, it's free will. But every action that we do, whether it's unconscious, you know, we do it subconsciously, or we consciously choose to do something, regardless, you're resonating with an energy. You know what I'm saying? So take that into consideration. You know what I'm saying? And so there's different ways to grow your brain, you know what I'm saying, and have more neurogenesis happen and create larger amounts of neuroplasticity. You know, and just doing different things in the day, trying different things, opening yourselves up to new things will open yourselves up to new energies and neural pathways. And, you know, the Kundalini rises on the merits of the heart, and the vessel that's perfectly facilitated for its energy to grow. You know what I'm saying? So it comes back to the central access point of the heart, you know, the virtues that we hold dear, the vibration that we choose to have our frequency rise to, whether it's lower or higher, is going to dictate our expression physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, everything on all the levels. It's going to affect it. So we have to do something about it, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to take conscious control of what's going on, and I believe that we can really make these things happen, man, and reach a state where we can experience We like what I'm saying right now, I'm telling you because I integrate this into my life on a day-to-day basis. And with that being said, it's like I believe and I know for a fact, man, that by applying these things and by living this way, you can make these happen too. And it's a divine right and inheritance of who we are as human beings to apply these to our life. You know what I'm saying? And to cleanse ourselves, open ourselves up, break down the chemicals that they've been, feeding us all the time, putting it in the food, the water, the air, everything that we consume and touch, is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So the vibrational field of it is messed up. Nowadays the food in the grocery store is older, so the vibrational frequency and the bioavailability of the nutrition and the bioelectricity is going to be lower than if we just pick it from the vine. So they're just doing everything. They've constructed the way we think to everything we intake, how we sleep, like everything they've constructed in a way for our energy to be depleted and for the toroidal flow to reverse downward. And so the CHRISM can't occur. You know what I'm saying? They've done everything. And so in order to fight back, dog, we have to take control of who we are as a human being and cleanse ourselves of all the bullshit internally and externally, and facilitate the vessel for the growth and expansion of our energy, which we're meant to do. And they know it, and that's why they work so hard to get us and to misdirect our path and get us off of this wavelength. So we have to take this up, y'all. Fasting is very important. And so, there's different ways to do it, like just in itself. Look, intermittent fasting, caloric restriction / fasting increases synaptic plasticity, promotes neuron growth, decreases risk of neurodegenerative diseases, and improves cognitive function, according to the Society of Neuroscience. During fasting, a metabolic shift lowers the body's leptin levels, a hormone produced by fat, and as a result, the brain receives a chemical signal for neurons to produce more energy. Popular methods include fasting 1 day per week for an entire 24-hour period, etc. Imagine doing this for a longer period of time, combining it with mantra, meditation, doing some type of energetic transmutative practice, then having the CHRISM occur. You're literally preparing the vessel perfectly in a way for your energy to rise and expand. And once the cerebrospinal fluid rises up back to the claustrum, and the CHRISM can occur, you literally get supercharged. Your neurons get supercharged 10,000 times, yo. You know what I'm saying? So, just doing the simple methods, you know what I'm saying? People consider doing these things like, damn, I gotta stop eating, I gotta make big sacrifices, I gotta be very disciplined. But what are you really sacrificing, bro? Like, high key, like, what are you really sacrificing? You're sacrificing what? A diminished way of living, feeling less, being less in tune with what's around us, being less in control of our internal nature, the way our energy moves. There's yogis that, I've tried it myself, and you can go in and visualize a certain part of the body. And once you can visualize at a stronger level and really internalize and see yourself internally, you can actually pinpoint an organ and have it act better. I've had times where, I might have, I drank tea before I ate something before, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, and this was before I had fasted, so I was kind of acidic. And so I had a stomach ache, you know what I'm saying? And so I went in directly with my mind at this point, you know what I'm saying? And I focused as hard as I could. I tried to breathe proper, balance out my energy, and regulate my heart. And it literally went away, you know what I'm saying? And before I had implemented that, I probably would have thrown it up or expelled it in some way, and to experience that, that level of control and just trying to consciously do something is profound. And just to have the intention in itself is going to do amazing things. And so just imagine the power that we're going to feel once we do this all the time, and we have the proper vessel facilitator. We're doing transmutative exercise. We're doing the breathing techniques. We're intaking an alkaline diet, high vibrational foods. Our internal speech is positive and reinforcing and expanding. We're looking at things in a new light. We're not closed off to closed off, I mean, not just to ideas and perceptions, but to energy, to separate ourselves. We're separating ourselves from the divine source. So we have to open ourselves and reconnect by, fasting and cleansing ourselves and preparing the vessel so we can transmute these energies and attain higher levels of vibration. You know what I'm saying? And literally not just talk about it, but feel it. Feel this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I can speak from experience, bro. I can speak from experience that this stuff works, and I definitely have a lot to learn and to go. So don't feel like I'm trying to be that type of motherfucker to be like, I'm the one, I'm Neo, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you feel me? Because, Morpheus had Neo, you know what I'm saying? Trinity, Tank, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Putting it down for all, everybody had a role, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a beautiful frequency and vibration to give. But if it's honest and from expression and experience, and you express that to somebody through truth, you know what I'm saying? And non-dualistic perception, I feel like that's a beautiful thing, and that's going to be much more than just reading it in a book, or much more than just theorizing about it and talking about it, because experience is the best teacher. How long are we just going to, talk about what somebody else did and deem that as truth? You know what I'm saying? That, that just sounds a little false. You know what I'm saying? You're selling yourself short to maybe something that you have now to add to the equation. You know what I'm saying? And so using the tools necessary, man, traveling just promotes neurogenesis, fasting, doing the urine therapy, which I'm going to get to right now. Fuck the bullshit. We going to go in right now. And hold up. Let me see what's good. Man, because this blew my mind. And I was very skeptical at first. Very fucking skeptical, man, because that's sketch. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody trying to drink their pee one time. You know what I mean? And so I was like, oh, hell no. And so I watched a video, and it was Dr.Sebi explaining how he had urine therapy. He fasted for 21 days, and he drank his urine. And on the third day after drinking his urine, he went blind. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, he's like, whatever, I'm just going to put some gauze over my eyes and I'm going to keep doing it, because he knew about the detoxification process of what happens when you fast and cleanse yourself of toxins. And so during this, he's like, fuck it, I'm going to actually just keep going, and I'm going to have faith, because I understand the physiology of myself and what's happening right now. So he kept doing it. And on the 5th day, he took off his gauze, bro, and he said he saw the clearest he ever saw in his life. He had vitality that he had never felt before. He was opened up, you know what I'm saying? And so what happens, you know what I'm saying? What happened, during that time? What alchemical process happened, man? And so what happened is, when he drank the perfect medicine, the urine, man, you know what I'm saying? We're going to go in right now. I'm going to just read it one time. And when he drank that, the antidote, you know what I'm saying? When he drank that, it literally went in and cleansed out not only his whole body and anything that was going on with him, but in his mind as well. And it went behind his eyes, man, and flushed out all the inflammation, all the toxins, man, everything within his mind, man, and flushed it out. All the pus, everything built up. Imagine if we just open ourselves up and peep game one time. It'd probably look a little sketch, bro. You know what I'm saying? Unless you start cleaning yourself, man. And we really got to look inwardly, man. We got to look inward, man. And he cleansed himself this way. And I was like, you know what, man? I'm a little skeptical, bro. But how the fuck am I gonna know if I don't try? You know what I'm saying? I'm doing pranayama. I'm doing yoga every day. I'm doing sexual transmutation of the creative energy, the life force, the prana, into solar energy and into Christic energy. I'm working at eliminating the ego every day, trying to facilitate the virtues of the divine to have higher energy, open myself to more energy, open up the neural pathways, open up the nadis, the meridians, the chakras, and aligning with what I am on the astrophysiological level. In all fucking aspects. And to come across the urine therapy, it's like a gold mine, because it's literally the nectar of the Kundalini Shakti. and to hear all the different stories and accounts of people fasting when they had no other type of they had no type of way to heal. Everywhere they went, they were turned away. They couldn't find herbs to cleanse them, and so modern medicine wasn't doing anything for them, whatever type of hospital they went to, and whether it was holistic or not. And these people were bedridden, about to die, and all they did was fast and drink their urine, their own perfect medicine that's the closest to the blood. And I'm gonna get to exactly what the health benefits are. I'm gonna just get to it right now. But these people, they do this and they're bedridden, about to die, and they cleanse themselves and reverse the whole process alchemically by fasting alone, and then using urine therapy, and they're healed in a renewed being, bro. Like what the, what I'm saying? Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that's lit. You feel me? Like, we gotta take advantage of this, man. We gotta stop tripping about the external shit. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all motherfuckers took a shot one time. I know you guys ate some mushrooms that tasted nasty one time, or it tasted some type of funk that got stuck in your teeth, or if you take a shot, that shit didn't taste bomb. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're, drinking beer for the first time, or, all whatever's out there, you were open to it, you tried it, and you said fuck it because of the effects that it does, and that was killing ourselves. So what's so bad about drinking our pee? And how are you gonna that just sounds funny to say, but damn, it's a trip to hear that, man. But like, how are you gonna trip on that when you've been when everything that we've done, you know what I'm saying, you're willing to kill yourself, but to make a sacrifice for a couple minutes of life to research urine therapy and to drink that and see what it does? Like, it sounds foolish to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can you not take the time to try and do this? Let's see what happens for ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And I can speak, for example, like when I was doing the fast, I was going to work as well. I was waking up at 3 a.m., doing the ritual by, saying the mantra, looking towards the east, saying the specific mantras, expelling, collecting, and drinking the urine, looking towards the east, and then doing heavy meditation afterwards and consuming it with the rock salt. And I'll get to like the benefits of what happens when you do that. But literally, people were telling me, I'm fasting at this point. I had so much energy bursting. I'm only sleeping a couple hours a night, praying heavily. You know what I'm saying? And I feel beyond. I felt like a young child. You know what I'm saying? I was high as a kite, bro. Like the DMT was flowing. You know what I'm saying? And the serotonin and the pituitary and pineal gland was flowing freely, and I was transmutating that energy as well through pranayama and yoga, etc. And the people were literally telling me 3 days after doing this daily that I was glowing. You know what I'm saying? People were saying that, they felt a different energy on me and like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not like, fuck the extra. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever, fuck who I am. You know what I'm saying? But what it did on an experiential level is it made a difference in my physiology and in my energy field that people could feel. And not if you just take out me, like if it wasn't me and somebody else, like that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like for somebody else to experience something going on an alchemical level within another person, whether it was expressed like consciously and you told them, well, this is what you're doing, they felt that, and it's all about results. It's all about experience, man, and feeling this for ourselves, because that's the only way we're going to know. And so the medical proof of doing this, right? So it gets trippy, man. It gets trippy talking about some urine therapy one time, because, first thing you want to be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? But, it's for real. It's for real, Definitely can't judge a book by its cover one time. So the medical proof of urine therapy, man. For almost the entire course of the 20th century, unknown to the public, doctors and medical researchers have been proving in both laboratory and clinical testing that our own urine is an enormous source of vital nutrients, vitamins, hormones, enzymes, and critical antibodies that cannot be duplicated or derived from any other source. They use urine for healing cancer, heart disease, allergies, autoimmune diseases, diabetes, asthma, infertility, infections, wounds, and on and on. Yet we're taught that urine is a toxic waste product. This discrepancy between the medical truth and the public information regarding urine is ludicrous. And as the news releases you've just read demonstrate, can mean the difference between life and death to you and to your loved ones. When I contracted a crippling incurable disease early in my life, I used every available conventional medical and alternative healing method over the course of many years without success. When an acquaintance suggested I try urine therapy, I thought she lost her mind. But with no options left, I swallowed my prejudice and decided to give it a go. To my own and everyone else's amazement, my healing was so rapid and so profound with urine therapy that no question remained in my mind that someone in the medical community had to know more than what they were telling about this incredible body substance. And as a matter of fact, they did know more, a lot more. After many months of haunting university libraries, scanning countless microfiche files, and poring over piles of medical journals, I had amassed a small mountain of astounding research studies, findings and files on the use of urine in medicine and healing. Bruh. You know what I'm saying? Swallowed her pride and prejudice, dog. It just went in and seen for herself, dog. That's what we need to do. Stop judging shit by the book. Stop judging the book by its cover, dog. Stop judging shit. Stop putting it in a box, man. Let's see for ourselves. Let's peep game. Because really, theory ain't gonna get us nowhere if we don't integrate it into our conscious mind and convert it into wisdom through experience, man. That's the only way. And then we gotta speak the truth, man. Embrace it. You feel me? And so I discovered among numerous other things that urine, far from being a toxic body waste, was actually a purified derivative of the blood made by the kidneys, which contains not body waste, but rather an incredible array of critically important nutrients, enzymes, hormones, natural antibodies, and immune defensive agents. At the end of it all, as I sat tiredly in my chair, eyeing the stacks of research papers covering my desk, I realized that the medical community had pulled off one of the biggest hoodwinks in history. For instance, the doctor who reported that urine acts as an excellent and safe natural vaccine and has been shown to cure a wide variety of disorders, including hepatitis, whooping cough, asthma, hay fever, hives, migraines, intestinal dysfunctions, etc. It is completely safe and causes no side effects. Or the oncologist who reported that, that doctor's name was J. Plesh, MD, in the medical press in 1947, or the oncologist who reported that a patient with intractable ovarian cancer was treated with human urine derivative and is now completely well and enjoying the rest of her life. Dr. M. Soeda, University of Tokyo, in 1968. Bruh, we can heal everything with doing this, man. And it's literally the perfect medicine for us. So imagine combining this with fasting. And I'm going to get to the energetic aspect of what happens when you, and the alchemical process of what happens when you intake your own urine, and how it's so close to the blood and the sperm. And the sperm is very vital to the transmutation of sexual energy, because it literally is the seed, you know what I'm saying? And the CHRISM occurs with the secretion of the oil. But in order for it to rise, we have to facilitate it and nurture it correctly. And in my last video, I explained to you guys exactly how to do so on a physical level, on an energetic level, mental level, emotional level, everything, in order to make this process happen. And this is not something that just happens for 3 days and you're successful. You know, you're successful in doing it for 3 days, but all the days after that, if it's not nurturing the seed as well and facilitating the growth of energy and the transmutation of that energy, and opening yourself up so you can prepare yourself in a way that you're not gonna you're not gonna fry yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the fires of the divine will burn if it's not facilitated in the right furnace. You know what I'm saying? In the furnace, the fornix, the brain. You know what I'm saying? The first, second, and third ventricles of the brain. You know what I'm saying? Where sits the pineal and the pituitary. You know, in the thalamus. You know, where the CHRISM occurs. You know what I'm saying? In the furnace, the fornix, where it burns. You know what I'm saying? And fornication, which is literally the burning away of the seed. You know, that says a lot right there. So the furnace, the burning away of the seed and fornication of the fornix, where the CHRISM occurs, needs to be nurtured. You know what I'm saying? Sexual energy needs to be considered the life force, the creative energy, the prana, the chi, which is what it is, the life energy that flows through all. And imagine combining all of these methods and drinking urine therapy, and with the alchemical process that happens on an energetic basis, man. Opening yourself up profoundly, cleansing yourself, healing yourself, doing everything on every level. So your body's own super nutrition therapy. In 1975, one of the founders of Miles Laboratories, Dr. A.H. Free, published his book Urinalysis in Clinical Laboratory Practice, in which he remarked that not only is urine a sterile body compound, purer than distilled water, but that it is now recognized that urine contains thousands of compounds, and as new, more sensitive analytical tools evolve, it is quite certain that new constituents of urine will be recognized. Among the urine constituents mentioned in Dr. Free's revealing treatise is a list of nutrients that will knock your socks off. As Dr. Free comments, the ingredients listed below are only a few critical nutrients found in urine. And just glancing at it, bruh. Just glancing at it, dude. From motherfucking, alanine to zinc, man. And it's only a few. It's only a few compounds. And once we have more devices able to measure these, you know what I'm saying? Measure or how nutrient dense urine is, and what it, on a further level, we're gonna reveal even more. So we have to experience this stuff for ourselves, man. And just look, man. Alanine, arginine, ascorbic acid, allantoin, amino acids, bicarbonate, biotin, calcium, creatine, cysteine, dopamine, epinephrine, glucose, glycine, glutamic acid. And I was actually reading earlier too that blood glucose, actually the proper levels of blood glucose, like from fruits and natural sugars, plant-based sugars, actually help facilitate the flow of the cerebral spinal fluid quicker. So that's very powerful. Look, 100 milligrams already. You know what I'm saying? That, so it's already saying on an energetic level that this is going to do many things within the physical network in order to facilitate the seed's growth as well. So it has magnesium, which we're short in, nitrogen, manganese, iron, dude, like so many nutrients, potassium, zinc, vitamin B, vitamin B6 and B12, riboflavin, potassium. Bruh, the list, I know it goes on more than that, man, from what he was just saying. And that's amazing, man. You know what I'm saying? And let's clear up some misconceptions one time. If you ask the person on the street what uric acid is, he or she would invariably answer that it's a toxic body waste. Not so. Say medical researchers at the University of California at Berkeley, who in 1982 reported they had discovered that uric acid destroys body-damaging, cancer-causing free radicals and is considered to be one of the physiological factors that enable human beings to live so much longer than other mammals. But what about urea? Urea is in urine, and isn't that toxic stuff that causes uremic poisoning? Actually, medical researchers discovered many decades ago that urea, far from being a toxic body waste, is an incredibly versatile, far-reaching, and effective medicinal agent. In numerous medicinal studies, it was shown that urea is one of the most potent non-toxic virucidal agents ever discovered. In one particular study, the rabies and polio virus were killed so quickly and efficiently by concentrated urea that even the laconic researchers themselves were surprised. Quote, urea is such a relatively inactive substance and certainly not a protoplasmic poison, such as are most virucidal agents. That is in a way surprising that rabies and poliomyelitis are killed so easily by urea solutions. McKay and Schroeder, Society of Experimental Biology, 1936. In reality, urea is an FDA approved medicinal agent that doctors and researchers utilize in an amazing variety of therapeutic modalities. Bruh, we gotta run it. We gotta, as a natural diuretic, urea is unparalleled and is proven and accepted a treatment in cases of edema or swelling, such as excess cerebral and spinal pressure, glaucoma, epilepsy, meningitis, directly connected to the brain tissue and and the network of the neurons, bruh. And it supplies the right nutrients. And if we look at it just on a physical level and scientific level, this is what it's doing. But look what it's doing on an energetic level and in the alchemical process. You're literally drinking pure energy, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it was written in the Damar Tantra, you know, a very ancient tantric text in the Hindu culture. And right at the top of this page, it says, use your own perfect medicine to promote health and longevity. Urine drinking is safe, effective, and taboo. The benefits are staggering. Be your best self. Drink your pee. Damn, bro. That's just crazy to say with a straight face like that, bro. But, you know, it's crazy. You know, it's for real. It's for real. You know what I'm saying? We got to try it, dog. And so, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and read this to you. So this is the ritualistic aspect of taking this and the benefits that it can do. I'm gonna post the link in the info on this video, and I'm gonna straight up I'm gonna leave it there for you to peep game too if you want to check the ingredients of what to mix this with and how to intake it on a deeper level. But I will go over it real quick. And so he's talking to his twin flame Parvati, and in Gnosticism, the perfect matrimony and the rising of the Kundalini go hand in hand. You know, sexual energy, the Christic energy, the solar energy, the prana. You know, it's all directed with the crossing of two separate energies of the feminine and the masculine, and converting them into higher. So we must take that into consideration. If you look in time, every person that was a master had a female counterpart that they were practicing the sexual transmutation methods with. So it's very important to practice the perfect matrimony with the high priestess wife while doing your own disciplines. And that's exemplified all throughout history by all the masters. And so he's sitting here speaking to his twin flame and talking about the benefits of doing this. And they call this they call urine the I believe, hold on, let's see. The water of Shiva, because in Sanskrit it's called Shivambu Shastra, and it's literally means the water of Shiva, and it's considered like, you know, literally the nectar of the Kundalini Shakti. So I'll leave this for you guys to go check out. He says he's speaking to about Parvati, his twin flame, and those who practice this method can enjoy the fruits of their meditation and this method. For this, certain actions have been recommended along with certain types of utensils. The Shivambu is to be drunk from pots made of gold, silver, copper, brass, iron, tin, glass, earth, bamboo, bones, leather, or a bowl made of plantain leaves. The urine should be collected in any one of the above mentioned utensils and should be drunk. However, earthen pots are best for use. You know, if you're just looking at this on a physical level and on the surface, they just look like different containers. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, they all have different energetic resonances to them. And that's why it is specified here that earthen pots are the best, because it is the nurturing energy of the Mother Earth. You know, the Mother Goddess, the Kundalini serpent that is ready to carry us into the heavens, you know, under her bosom. You know what I'm saying? And the follower of this therapy should avoid pungent, salty ingredients in his meals. He should not overexert himself. He should follow a balanced and light diet. He should sleep on the ground and control the senses. It's basically, you know, if you're doing all the things necessary to expand your energies, you're disciplining yourself, you're facilitating the growth of you're facilitating the vessel and the growth of the CHRISM and the energies within the body on all levels, then this is vital. You know, the energetic aspect, you can reap the benefits of it, not just on a physiological level. And so by doing that combined with this, you're gonna reap crazy benefits, right? And so this is the energetic aspect, y'all. So you have to be able to be open to it as well. So if this method is followed for 1 month, one's body will be internally cleansed. Drinking it for 2 months stimulates and energizes the senses. If this method is followed for 3 months, all types of ailments will disappear and all miseries will evaporate. And this is a very ancient text written in Sanskrit, which is still an ancient, which is considered an ancient language and is still spoken today. So the vibrations are there, and after following this method for 5 months, the follower will be completely healthy and will be bestowed with divine eyesight. And for the ancients to know this on all these levels with quote unquote, less sophisticated machinery and ways to measure these things, they knew and understood on an experiential basis and experienced the cosmos and all the different processes of the elements and creation in within themselves. And after 6 months of following this therapy, the follower will be exceptionally intelligent. After 7 months, the follower will be extraordinarily strong. After 8 months, the human body will possess divine luster like that of shining gold, which will be permanent. After 9 months of continual use, tuberculosis and leprosy will perish. After 10 months of continued use, the follower becomes practically the treasury of luster and brightness. After 11 months, the follower becomes pure both externally and internally. After 1 year of continued use, the follower acquires solar shining. After 2 years, the follower can conquer the element of earth. After 3 years of practicing this therapy, the follower can conquer the element of water. After 4 years, conquer the element of luster. 5 years, conquer the element of air. 7 years, makes the follower capable of conquering the ego. All dimensions of the psyche expanded on just by doing this, man. Like dude, urine therapy, man, is powerful, and I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna leave this for you guys because if you take it with certain things, they have different types of effects as well. So shivambu should be taken with 1 gram. If it's taken with 1 gram of sulfur and is followed for 3 years, man may acquire longevity as long as the moon and the planets exist. The urine and the excreta of such a man become white and gold. The stomach powder, Kosta Churna, should be taken with shivambu continually for a period of 12 years. The tokens of old age, such as wrinkles on the skin, gray hair, etc., vanish. Man will have the strength of 10,000 elephants and will live as long as the moon and the planets exist. Is that far-fetched? You know what I'm saying? Is that crazy? I don't fucking know. But in order to find out from somebody who was speaking from experience, bro, we got to make it. We got to peep. We got to see. You know what I'm saying? We got to see for ourselves how it's working and analyze what's happening and make the jump for ourselves, man. Okay, so I'm going to read this last part, man. And just to show you how powerful urine therapy is, man, and how it resonates with the Kundalini energy and actually helps facilitate the production of the cerebrospinal fluid and the nurturing of the seed, and how it's directly related to sexual energy and the Kundalini serpent and what it does. So by Natalia Pereira, Shivambu Shastra, the mother of Ayurvedic medicine. We are in a very magical era. All around us, in many ways, we are witnessing the connection between the East and the West, the ancient and the modern, spirituality and science. Modern scientific research is linking its most recent discoveries in the field of quantum physics and vibrational healing methods with ancient spiritual ideas. We are so truly fortunate to be living in an exciting time and watch in awe. This process of life is unfolding before our very eyes. One such powerful practice for healing that continues to flourish today is the Shivambu Shastra, urine therapy, respected for thousands of years as the mother of Ayurvedic medicine, holistic medicine, plant-based medicine in the East. The mother of it all is urine therapy. Or Amaroli, Amara, in Sanskrit means immortal. So there, and if we study the etymology of the waters of Amrita, ambrosia, it's also called Amaroli in another culture, you know what I'm saying? And it literally means immortal, Amara. which is the root of these words. And in yoga, commonly known as self-urine therapy, Shivambu literally means the waters of Shiva, referring to the auspiciousness of the practice. And he symbolizes death, the death of the ego, and the rebirth of the soul, the transmutation of the lead of the personality into the gold of the spirit. He symbolizes the CHRISM, the death of the old with the new, the death of the lower vibration, and the transmutation and resurrection into the high. You know what I'm saying? And he is the third aspect of creation. So you have A, U, and M. We have creation, A, sustenance, U, and M, destruction. So that's Shiva, or that's Brahma, creation, Vishnu, sustenance, and Shiva, the destroyer, which leads to rebirth. If a forest burns down, the ashes of the burnt plant matter will facilitate even more fertile growth within the forest and the soil, which will actually provide it nutrients to flourish even better and more vibrant than it had been before. And to think about death in that way, we must face death on a day-to-day basis, man, to rebirth and facilitate the CHRISM, and cleanse our whole nature, man, and embrace it and control it and raise its vibration internally and externally. And its method of drinking urine for rejuvenation is outlined in the Shivambu Kalpa Vidhi, part of a 5,000-year-old document called the Damar Tantra, which I'll put a link to in the under the video very soon, or when I'm done with this shit, man. So you can peep game for yourself. You can see which ways to take it. You can look at the mantras. It's going to provide for you that if you want to take part in the ritualistic aspect of taking the urine therapy beyond just the physiological, then it's going to show you how to do it on a ritualistic way. And like ritual is nothing more than just folding the steel. When a samurai needs a blade crafted, a blacksmith sits down and puts his whole heart and soul into the creation, however long it takes, reinforces that blade and sharpens it over and over and over again. And once he gives that samurai the sword and he hits the battlefield, if he hasn't reinforced it enough times, it will break against the other man's sword who is already who is reinforced. It will not cut through the limb. It will not cut through the bone or the flesh in the proper way. So you must, every type of energetic reinforcement that we do in a ritual or a habit or an action or anything is gonna lead to the sharpening and the reinforcement of that steel, man. And you're either gonna cut through the veil of Isis or not. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we're trying to do. That's what ritual is meant to be. And so it's not this just esoteric concept. It's literally what we do energetically with everything is ritual. You know what I'm saying? And linking this practice back to the Vedas, the sacred Hindu text, and to the practice of Tantra. Tantra is a Sanskrit term which includes the words tanoti, expansion, and chayati, liberation, referring to the path that expands the mind or consciousness and liberates one from the cycle of birth and death. So now we have rebirth and resurrection, and to live eternally. You know what I'm saying? We have to embrace what that means and find out through practice and doing these methods. Tantra assigns the highest priority to women and to the worship of the goddess, the cosmic womb. They're literally the portal that brings in energy and moves it on and creates it on a molecular level in a way that it bonds energy to physical matter, nurtures it, feeds it with her own life force for 9 months, and creates life. That's beautiful. And this is what the universe is doing to us. And that's why the goddess energy is so important. And the mother goddess Kundalini energy is so important because we are in the womb of creation. And it's not to be one-sided or feminist or anything, or to disregard masculinity, nigga, or anything like that. And it's It's the balance of the two and understanding our purpose and where we're at. That's why, Lord Shiva, Brahma, all of them, all the male gods are depicted with feminine faces because of the feminine nature of the universe and its nurturing nature. And that's all we're doing is addressing it for what it is. It's not separateness. It's not looking at it one-sided. It's just looking at it for what it is and embracing that nurturing energy. And in this light, it is wrong to promote Shivambu as a medicine or a magic panacea for all ailments. It is first and foremost a spiritual practice. Ancient tantrics used it to unleash the feminine Kundalini Shakti at the base of the spine through the Sushumna, the central canal within the spinal column, to join her male principle, Shiva, at the top of the spine. So now we're talking about, again, directly related to the transfer of Kundalini energy, which makes the CHRISM occur naturally. By doing this, you're assisting it and literally drinking the nectar of the Kundalini Shakti, which is pure energy, prana, life force. So if you're doing this, you're literally going to activate higher energy centers and facilitate the birth of the CHRISM. You know what I'm saying? Or the rebirth of the CHRISM. And when awakened, it liberates a lot of energy that leads to the expansion of consciousness and leads to mukti, or liberation from the bondage of pain and suffering. The motherfucking CHRISM, dog. You know what I'm saying? Right here, written in the paint. You know what I'm saying? It's right here, dog. You know what I'm saying? And I'll post this as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and read a little bit more of this, man. But I'm gonna post this, man, and y'all get the gist. You know what I'm saying? It's we got the tools necessary, man, and in order to embrace our full astrophysiology of the self, the astrotheology of the self, we have to take all these tools into consideration, man, and we can make things happen beyond our greatest imagination as the vibration we're resonating at right now if we just embrace higher vibrations and ways of thinking beyond prejudice and discrimination of the past. You know what I'm saying? And damn, man, you know what I'm saying? The proof is right here, dog. We got to take hold of this, man. Much love, man, much love. But I'm gonna read this one time, and I'm gonna call it a night, man. I'm gonna let you guys peep game first. You know what I'm saying? And everything is done through experience and understood in that way. Theory only gets you to a certain degree, and it leads to darkness. You know what I'm saying? Let's walk through the light together, hand in hand, man. Doing this shit, doing it, telling people what happens regardless of the mockery, the exclusion, the disgust, whatever they may have labeled within their mind. That does not have to do with us. You know what I'm saying? If we just embrace the truth of the cosmos and live by it, regardless of opinion and how we feel about it, does not change what's going on. That's period. You know what I'm saying? Truth is undebatable by opinion. So the sacred text, the Sri Damar Tantra Shivambu Kalpa Vidi, is defined as such. Damar means control of the body and sense. Tantra means expansion of consciousness. Kalpa means vitalize and regenerate. And Viti means process or technique. Its first verse captures Shiva talking to his companion. O Parvati, those who practice this method can enjoy the fruits of their meditation and penance. It is worth noting that it does not mention the enjoyment of good health in the absence of disease. It speaks instead of meditation and penance, and for a reason. It is warned that the stimulation of Kundalini Shakti, together with Vajroli practice, sex control, are fraught with danger. They are said to be like fire that burns indiscriminately. So if you're not preparing the vessel in the right way, the divine energy of the fire of the CHRISM will burn indiscriminately and cause harm to the body. You know what I'm saying? The point of the practice is to melt the ego and all its related patterns rooted in ignorance. Some yogis were reported, however, to live for 150 years, free from disease and gifted with miraculous powers. But what is not commonly mentioned is that the misuse of those powers was seriously regarded and owned by the teacher who had imparted that knowledge to the pupil. So traditionally, initiation was taken under the supervision of an experienced yoga teacher, and the pupil had to undergo a 7-year fixed probation period in order to determine his credibility and sensibility. There is something esoteric about urine. As a byproduct of the blood, it contains life force or prana, and thus is considered to be a supernatural living food. When taken, it awakens the healer within, who works both on a mechanistic level as well as on an energetic level. What we've been talking about, y'all, we have to embrace everything in this way. We have to, bro. Like, we got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how we're going to learn and really grow as human beings, man, and be able to relate to the next individual in a scientifically methodical manner, man, because you have to be able to talk about this stuff, give it to somebody else. And not only that, if somebody's going to receive it, it takes a deep level of humility and honesty with oneself to open yourself to new levels of thinking and thinking that maybe I was wrong doing what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people aren't ready to embrace that. And we got to break down the prejudice and discrimination of things based on the past. You know what I'm saying? We have to. And it's all about breaking down the ego. This practice is to melt the ego and all its related patterns rooted in ignorance. And so when we speak about the 48 levels of the ego and of the mind and the psyche, these are all different energetic aspects and things that we must overcome in order to facilitate the virtues of the spirit and the divine. You know, these are different energies. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of how we want to look at it, this is how it is, and this is why it's laid out the way it is. It was never to demonize anything. It was never to say something was less divine than the other. It was just to show that the human ego and the free will and the obstruction of how we view things opposed to the truth is what causes these things to become demons and demonized. Hence why they're called ego demons. You know what I'm saying? It's not just an entity out there. It is an energy that we tap into, but it's more than that we have more control of and direct communication with, and ways to ascend past that, you know, which what we're meant to do. And this is why it's laid out. All the positive virtues of all these, you know, saints and things like that weren't to be higher than or above or separate from anybody else. It was to be one with nature. It was to embrace who we are as human beings, embrace our physiology, embrace our energy, embrace our anatomy, you know, embrace the cosmos. And this is what we're doing. This is not, I'm not saying this shit like, yeah, I think it's cool and shit, you know what I'm saying? But I also feel like, you know, that this is the truth, man. And from experience, like feeling this stuff on an energetic level and watching how people react to me and vice versa. And just going through the motions, man, of making mistakes and seeing what happens, bro. Like, it's taught me more than reading a book will ever do. You know what I'm saying? And now I can speak to you and advocate this stuff in a way that, bruh, this shit motherfucking works, and you know, let me know how, you know, it works for you, you know. And let's stop being scared of shit, man, and stop judging ourselves or what things are without really jumping into it and experiencing it and understanding it consciously and on a deeper level. You know what I'm saying? And urine has the ability to affect all levels of the being, from physical to the emotional to the mental and to the subtler vibrations of the soul. This deep purification is how Indian yogis use this technique to unleash the Kundalini Shakti through the chakras up to their third eye, and fostered a more intimate relationship between their self and their higher self. Any health benefits or sense of rejuvenation that was derived from the energy released by awakening Kundalini Shakti are thus consequential to the main goal of self-realization. You know, so it comes with the territory, you know, and but in order to do one or the other, they have to be facilitated with the base of going in and internally and really expanding who we are, man. Following tantric traditions, the practice was often combined with mantras, minerals, herbs, and spices, massage, and asana practices, all to assist the detoxification process and influence the vibrations of the body. Urine is said to be an invaluable source of nourishment and healing, yet has been too controversial or not financially rewarding enough for it to be studied, let alone encouraged for its potency. It's pure energy, bro. Like activating the Kundalini, man. Damn, you know what I'm saying? We gotta go in, y'all. We gotta go in, and it's written in the stars, man. As above, so below. If we want to get back in touch with what's out there, we gotta tap in. We gotta tap into ourselves, man. Motherfucking go in, man. You know, transmute some young energy one time. You know what I'm saying? Don't just read about the chakra. You meditate on the motherfucker one time. Cleanse it out, you know, and straight up, you know, and that's all I really got for y'all today. And I know it was a long one, but high key, man, it was necessary, dog. I had to break it down. I had to break it down because, you know, we gotta look at the whole motherfucking picture, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we can't just look at the sun and forget about the moon, my dog. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, let's run it. But, you know, peace, love, blessings, and prosperity to everybody. And to, you know, I hope you all have an expansive night, an expansive day, and you're blessed with all the divine opportunities and synchronicities that help you ascend, man. And I hope this really helped and opened up some new doors, answered some questions. You know, took the stank face off of urine therapy one time, you know what I'm saying? And really looking at fasting for what it is as a whole, instead of just cleaning the body, or, you know, just facilitating yourself for prayer. Or we're actually looking at this with the whole shebang, son. And, you know, let's apply it to life one time. And one love, peace, and prosperity, man. Stay up.